All right, so the last couple of days it's been starting without having to touch the accelerator pump and go straight to 850 idle. It's been hot as hell the last couple of days, so I haven't done much outside. But today I came out, had to kick the choke on to get her to idle. Got her back down to 800, ran for a little bit, and then stumbled and stalled out. It smells like she's still running rich, so I have grabbed my carburetor tool. It's a kind of a special screwdriver with an end, and this little knob has an arrow so you can count the number of turns. I'm going to reset the air fuel mixture screws because one is really far out and the other one's really far in, and I'm kind of wondering if with all the vacuum leaks and everything else they did, if they don't have that just completely out. So we're going to set both of them to 1.5 and see. First we're going to make a document of what they're at now, so in case I have to go back to it, just in case for some reason this carburetor is just that far out of whack. Then we'll turn them in, back them out 1.5 and see how it runs, and then we'll do some fine tuning. But I don't want to do too much. This is a project for somebody else. I just want her to run nice enough that you can drive it out without having it stall. Okay, so I got the readings. The passenger side, or the far side, was 1.25 out from in, and the driver's side was 1.75. So I reset them to 1.5 each. Like I said, it seemed like it's been running pretty rich, so it could be another adjustment that's off as well, but at least now we have a base. I'm going to go ahead and fire it up, and hopefully it will idle better. If not, we'll be tuning it a little bit to see what we get. Okay, well, I just hit the key and it seems to be idling just about normal. We're going to let it run until it's completely warmed back up, because it's been a few minutes since I ran it and it's come down a little bit. But we'll let it go ahead and idle for a few, see if that helps any, and with it running we'll be able to make our adjustments. Alright, so the idle's come up a little bit, almost to 1,000. I would say about 9 something. Temperature's coming up. It is running nice and smooth. No mists or anything like I've been having. So that's a plus. So the idea to do this, you can do carburetor adjustments, can be done a couple of different ways. You could do it by ear. If you've got a really good ear, you can hear the RPMs of the motor change up and down as you adjust the screw in and out. You can hook up a remote tach that has some finer gauge markings other than the dash one. You can use the dash one, but it's not as accurate. The other one would be to hook up a vacuum gauge, and you can watch the vacuum come and go when you get into the sweet spot. Again, I'm not shooting for perfect. I'm shooting for making sure that it runs properly, so that, like I said, I don't want it to stall if you go up the stop sign and stall out. So if it has to be a little high, somebody else can rebuild the carburetor and go through all the hassle. This is just to get it sold. Okay, and it's starting to act up again. So I gave it a little gas, got the RPMs up. I'm kind of having to keep my foot on it just a little bit to keep it running, because as soon as it starts to drop below 1,000, it wants to sputter and die. Let's see if I can back off here and keep it running. So it's just barely running at this point. And it stalled. So temperature's up to normal, and let's see if we'll start without having to hit the key or a foot. Yep. All right, so it won't start on without the foot. gave it a couple of little pumps, and now it's idling back to where it was supposed to. So yeah, the carburetor I think just needs either really be cleaned, or it really just needs to be adjusted properly. So I don't know. I'll make some minor adjustments and see if I can get it to smooth out at all, and then we'll just go from there. And like I said, I just want to get it sold. Well, I got her, so it's just below 1,000 again. She's idling, and the temperature's up to normal. So I don't know. She's just acting stupid. I'm hoping that maybe once we get some of this carb cleaner and shit through it, that it'll help settle everything down. I mean, we don't have any vacuum leaks. I mean, I don't know. I should pull the spark plugs just to see what's going on there, but yeah, that's no telling. She's just acting stupid. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna let her cool off, then I'll come back out and mess around with it and see how she runs, and once it cools off, I'll pull the plugs out and see what they look like. I mean, the plugs look new, at least on the outside. Not dirty or anything like that. The other thing I can check is the distributor and see if all that's what that all looks like inside there. Should be electronic ignition, but I haven't checked the inside of the cap to see if it's got any burn marks, so maybe that's whatever. Oh shit, we got a leaking fuel pump. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but all of a sudden the fuel pump started spitting fuel out the side of it. Where did I buy this fuel pump from? AutoZone or something. Yeah. So that's cool. So maybe some of this running problem is the fuel pump. Crap. Okay, well, I guess now we have to solve that problem. Well, it's definitely not the hose. It's definitely coming from the pump. Yeah, that's all wet. Okay, well. That could be part of our running problem. If that was going bad and losing pressure, that could be a reason why it doesn't want to run right. If it isn't one thing, it's something else. Okay. Okay, so I called the auto parts store. They don't have any. They'll have one tomorrow. This thing is still dripping away. I called them. Luckily, since it's brand new, it's under warranty. So I got to get it off, and so I can take it down tomorrow and exchange it for a new one. Yeah, it was crazy. It just blew out. Yeah, you can see how wet that is. Alright. Yeah, it stinks to high hoven. Hopefully, that was why the Jeep's been running funny the last day. Because it was running really good, and then all of a sudden it was right back to how it was. Didn't understand that. Okay. Need both hands. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start taking this apart. So I know I already have a video of how to do this once, but we'll go ahead and cover it again. So it's a 1/2 inch for the upper nut, at least on mine it is. I had already broke it free a second ago. It's hard to do one-handed. Okay. Alright, so that's loose. And I believe the 2 bolts on the side of the motor were 1/2 inch. I'm hoping. That's what I brought out with an extension. Okay. Alright. So now we just need to get this wire up out of the way for a second. Shit, those look bigger than a 1/2 inch. They look like 9/16. All right, so I'll probably have to go grab a wrench real quick. Okay, they were 1/2 inch and came out, and as soon as I took the front one out, the whole pump shifted sideways and squirted fuel all over the top of the Jeep. Good thing I wasn't leaning over that. I don't see any damage to the pump. Okay, so here we are. Yeah, it's squirting out the side, but I'm not exactly sure. I'm trying to turn it to see if I can get it to leak. Maybe it's leaking out the hole? Oh. I don't know if you can see that. So, I guess it blew out whatever was inside there. Okay. Yeah, I just had some kids stop by asking if I saw somebody. Apparently they ran over a dog in the neighborhood. Don't know. The adventures of living towards the country. People are just, we've had dogs shot, we've had apparently we always have cats getting run over, but so now tomorrow morning I'll get the new fuel pump. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day. Wife's got an appointment at noon, and then her iron is low. A normal person's low iron would be 35, and that's where they get concerned, and my wife's at 16. So we are starting a 4-week regimen of iron infusion at the infusion center. That takes 3 hours a visit for us, so I will be there pretty much all afternoon. So I'm not sure if I'll get the fuel pump back in tomorrow, at least not during the day. So who knows? I'm just going to make this short little video. So hopefully this fuel pump thing is why it's not wanting to idle right. It would make sense if the pressure wasn't right. It won't push the little valve that's there at the front of the carburetor that controls the floats, which would, like I said, for a couple days it was starting fine and everything, and then this, and I've been smelling gas, so maybe I just didn't notice the leak on the ground. I don't know. So it doesn't look like it got into the motor oil, so that's good. So it didn't blow out the bottom seal, so at least I don't think we have fuel in the oil, which would be good. If not, we'd start having some other issues, burning and spinning bearings, which would be bad. But all right, well, thanks for watching, and let's just trying to get this together so I can get it sold. Nothing's ever easy. And I'm going to take these 2 bolts and put them back in the block so they don't get accidentally knocked off here and then lost. All right, same part number as before. They actually got it same day. They told me it was going to be in tomorrow around 8 o'clock. But one thing I already noticed that's different is this hole is plugged. Can't really see it in the bag, but this one's plugged. So I'm going to eat myself a little dinner, and then I'm going to try to put this on. All right, since I got the new pump, I'm going to go ahead and get it in. I just had dinner, so hopefully this goes in fairly easy and makes all the running issues go away, and that's what it was. I'm hoping. Not really, but anything's possible. Okay, so just like last time, for some reason I have 2 different lengths bolts. So I put the shorter one in and get it pretty much threaded all the way, but leaving myself enough room. You'll see that the pump is slightly twisted, and I have to actually push down the pump arm while twisting the pump to get the bolt in. So it's kind of a trick, especially with one good hand. I put my brace on, so I had to have a fighting chance to do this. And I'm going to get a socket with an extension so that I can thread it in from way over here while I'm twisting it with the other hand to put it in place. Alright, it feels like I got it back in place and the gasket is where it's supposed to be. So now we can hook up the two lines and see how it runs. Alright, so it really wasn't too bad of a job. Probably took about 20 minutes just farting around with it. Line's hooked back up. Everything's snugged and tightened. So I guess I don't think there's any fuel left at the top, so we'll have to go ahead and see how she starts, or if we're going to have to prime her a little bit. But there is fuel in the fuel line from the tank, because you can see where it was still dripping from where I stuck it over there. So let's see what happens. Okay, I cranked her over a few times. She fired once and then stalled right out. I am seeing a drip. Drip. Okay, we're leaking right there, so I need to tighten that up. Well, that didn't really move much, so it feels like it's bottomed out. All right, hopefully it just was like maybe not even a quarter of a turn, but all right, let's find out. Okay, took a bit of cranking, but it finally started. We're still leaking fuel from somewhere. Alright, I gotta figure out where we gotta leak it. Okay. Definitely still have a leak. Can't tell if it's there. It's kind of wet. Trying to see. It's not spraying out the side. So my guess is it's leaking. I can't really see a spot. That looks dry. Oh, I see a drip. Right there. Okay. I'm going to pull that back off and see about if I can get that tube higher before I thread it in, because I think it's just not seating all the way down inside. Well, there's a possibility that it's currently flooded. It's when it does start, it seems like it's only running on like 2 cylinders all of a sudden. Trying to see, doesn't look like the pump is still leaking, so I think I finally got it tight. It's hard to tell. It's still pretty damp. I need to go find a towel and wipe it down with. But yeah, something is definitely a little off. So, yep, we are going to go get a towel, dry that off, and let it sit for a few minutes and see what. It took a lot of cranking to get the fuel to come up. I haven't checked up here at the fuel filter, but it should. I mean, it's starting, or attempting to start. Let's see here. Let's kick off the choke. Okay, well, I'm gonna go find a towel. All right, well, I have dried this off and it's been sitting here for a second and it's still weeping just a bit. So I'm gonna unscrew that, figure out what's going on. Worst case scenario, I'll get a barbed in and we'll replace the metal line up to the filter and just put a rubber hose in. I don't care. Probably be easier. But yeah, this wasn't leaking on the other pump, so I'm not sure what the hell is going on. So let's fix this first and then we'll worry about why it's not running right. Well, I don't see any damage. I don't see anything blocking that from seating. And I don't see any damage on the end of this. So we'll try reinstalling it one more time. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. See if we can get it seat completely. Okay, so I threaded it back in as far as it would go by hand, the whole time pulling up on the tube to make sure that it's seated all the way down. I put a 14 on the pump side and tightened that down until I couldn't turn the tube anymore, so it's on there as tight as it's going to be. And then I reconnected the fuel filter afterwards, so hopefully that solves any leak there now. Still don't know why all of a sudden it's running weird. I'm trying to, you know, when the gas sprayed all over this stuff, I don't see anything still wet. So I don't know. Man, these are on there tight as hell too. They look all right. What was that? All right, so I guess I'll give it a shot, see if it starts. If still running funny, maybe I'll let it soak overnight and see if that helps dry out the plugs and it'll fire better in the morning. Well, she sounds like she's trying to run a little better. Well, sort of. Shit, I'm losing my box. Okay, well, we got a little bit of... Well, it looks dry to me, so... And all I did was turn the key and let it fire. I didn't put my foot on the accelerator or nothing, so... Because I didn't want to add any extra fuel. I just wanted to see how it'd run. It seemed like it was running a little bit better, so... Maybe we'll go ahead and turn it over a couple more times and see if it gets enough fuel to start idling again. Well, it does fire up under its own power, runs really poorly, starts to sound like it's going to run a little better, sputters and dies. So, again, I'm trying not to give it any accelerator because I don't want to induce any more fuel from whatever might be in there from earlier. Let's see what it does. Well, it started. It still sounds like it's running on half the cylinders, if even that. Definitely sounds flooded. Something don't sound right. Might need to check the plugs. My only other option would be to reset the carburetor back to what they had it and see if that makes it run any better. But it was running fine at 1.5 turns before the fuel pump blew up. And see, we had it running. Alright, looks dry to me. I don't see any liquid building up, so fuel pump seems to be working and is seated. So either we have a fouled plug or plugs. Fuel got into something over here that it shouldn't have, and that's what's causing the problem, which I don't think so. I mean, it did spray into this connector, but this is a waterproof connector, so it shouldn't matter. And that goes to the distributor, but it's only 2 wires, so if it was missing, it would probably not start at all. I don't see anything else. Yeah, I think maybe I'll reset the carburetor back to where they had it and see if that makes any difference at all now that the fuel pump's working. I honestly can't think of why all of a sudden it would be running so poorly. Because it was running great yesterday. I mean, you didn't even have to touch the pedal. You just turned the key and it fired right up on the first crank and went straight to 850 and just sat there purring along. And this morning I came out and it was all over the place, and then the fuel pump blew. So something is definitely fishy. I really want to sell this so it becomes somebody else's headache. This is why, because I don't want to buy a new carburetor, because ultimately I kind of think that this carburetor might be on the problem. But all right, I'm gonna go get my carb tool, we'll reset everything, and we'll see if it runs any better that way. I really want to pull those spark plugs. I wonder how hot everything is right now. I can get to most of the spark plugs, but I'm wondering if we fouled it somewhere along the line, because the one that's going to be a pain is that one. But it looks like we have to move this bracket out of the way to do anything. So the other ones I can get to, because the way it's running, it just sounds fouled. I don't know. Alright, so I just pulled the dipstick and checked the oil. It does not smell like gas, so that's a plus. The fuel pump is no longer leaking. That's a plus. So option A for right now, because the motor's hot, I can go ahead and adjust the carburetor back to the way they had it, see if that helps. But the way it's running with the miss, my guess is we've got a fouled plug or two. So I'm just really thinking I should just leave it like it is, but yeah, I don't know. I'm at a loss. 1 minute it was running great and now it's not. So I mean, nothing else was disconnected. We didn't unplug anything. Just trying to think through. I'm going to open up this plug though that goes to the from the coil to the distributor and see if it's wet inside. All right, that took way too much effort to pull that apart. I don't know if you can see, but those are all corroded looking green. I don't know what the hell is in this plug. So this is a 3-wire. I don't know why this has got a 3-wire plug when it's a 2-wire. Unless I'm missing a count here. 1, 2. Nope, it's got 3 wires. Never mind. I'm blind. Could that be part of our problem? I don't know what that is. I've never seen green gel before. Man, that plug was almost impossible to get out of there too. It was like I had to work to get that out of there. I really want to clean those up. I've got some contact cleaner. I'm gonna get that and see if I can get something to scrub that with. I don't know if I got a small enough brush for that. But yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay, I don't know what that stuff is. See if you can see it there. But it's caked on all the connectors. It's hard to get a good picture of that. See, there we go. Yeah, I'm scraping it off out of here, out of this connector with the tip of the screwdriver. It's gooey. Yeah, I don't know. Dielectric grease would be clear, and that's kind of what you should have in there. Yeah, it kind of seems like corroded terminal goop to me. I'm spraying it down with some electrical connector cleaner. I would like to get in there and scrub it with a little brush. I'm trying to think if I have one someplace that will be small enough to fit, or maybe I should go grab a Q-tip. And getting into this one is kind of a pain. I sprayed the inside down with the connector cleaner, and I scraped some of that goop out of there. Yeah, I just don't know why it's green, whatever it is. I've never seen green before, so unless it was corroded. But I don't know of any electrical connector stuff that's green. Red for like battery terminals and stuff, but I've never seen green. Alright, well, I cleaned that the best I could, scraping with the screwdriver, spraying the contact cleaner. I then rubbed all the goop off that I could with this Q-tip I got. I really don't have anything to reach up inside there, so my two choices at this point would be, hopefully that made it better. If not, find a new 3-plug connector, cut this one out, put a new connector in there, and hopefully maybe that makes it better. I don't know. So we'll just have to see. Hopefully when we hit the key this time, things will be different. I'm not really counting on it. I still think that we've got some fouled plugs that just probably need to be cleaned. I mean, it's been running rich for a while, so who knows. The way it's smelling right now, it's definitely smelling bad gassy. So it'll start and then it just runs like shit at low RPMs. Below 2000 RPMs, it just missing, doesn't want to do anything. As soon as you get it above 2000 RPMs, it smooths out and everything seems to be working fine at that point. I revved it a few times. It backfired, sort of, because it was loading up. So I'm thinking I need to put the carburetor back to the way it was and go from there. Because, like I said, higher RPMs, it's smooth as anything. So we don't have any more leaks. It definitely, the unburnt fuel or whatever is that's coming up smells like almost like bad gas, but it's been running on the gas that's been in it for all this time, and I put fresh gas on top of it, so shouldn't be bad gas. But all right, so I'm gonna readjust the carburetor back to what the settings they had it, and we'll see what it does in the morning. All right, so yeah, I reset it back to where it was. It will
run at above 1500 RPMs. At 2000 it's smooth. At 1500 it picks up a miss. 1000 it starts tractoring, and with foot off the accelerator it tractors until it dies. It just keeps slowing down the RPMs. So my guess is that we're going to have to go ahead and rebuild this carburetor, because I think the air fuel mixture tube is plugged, because I can adjust it and the RPMs are not changing. So that would be my guess. So we will go ahead and guess we'll pull it back apart sometime in the next couple of days and go ahead and go through the carburetor and clean it up real good. It gives me an excuse to go over to Harbor Freight and pick up a ultrasound machine so I can clean it real good. Yep, I guess that's what we're going to do, because I don't want to spend the money on buying a new carburetor. So that's the only thing I can think, is that we've got a plug inside the carburetor now. Yeah, it's acting really weird. It's running, like I said, above 1000 RPMs it will run, but not great. Above 1500 RPMs it's much better. I guess the other thing I could do is try disconnecting the EGR and see if we've got, because that's always a possibility, the EGR is stuck open. Alright, yep, I will figure this out later. Well, I decided I was going to take the carburetor off and rebuild it, but with the amount of time that it would take to do that, and do it right, I'm looking at a few hours. Removing from the Jeep, disassemble, cleaning, reassemble, reinstalling it, tuning it on. It just doesn't make sense to keep dicking with this. I want to sell it, and the easiest way is I just picked up a new carburetor, and we're going to go ahead and drop that on here instead. So carburetor will be here in a few days, and I can just bolt it on and be done with it, and hopefully that solves the running problem. If not, it's got to be something else. And it's time for the dog to go inside. Halloo. Show him your inside dance, Rube. Show him your inside dance. Come on, up. There you go. All right, thanks for watching.